Be interested in just kind of your overall take and assessment from the performance on Saturday.
Well, first thing I'd say is that was a very good offensive football team we played. The team's going to win a number of football games in their conference, and I think have a very successful year. I think the quarterback was an outstanding player, and it was a very accurate ball. He operates on time. He understands the system, as I told you going into it. I called him Mr. Clean Jeans going into it because nobody ever touches him. And by method, he sinks out of there and puts himself in an untouchable position and threw excellent balls. 16 was the kind of player that was advertised going into it. And, one of our primary goals, keys to victory, was capture number 3, and I thought our kids did an excellent job of doing that. Were we satisfied with how we played overall? No, sir. Our expectations are higher than that, especially when it comes to the number of pass yards that we gave up. At the same time, we held them 120 yards below their normal output on the season, held them below their passing yards, rushing yards by 110, and equaled their low scoring output. So we're very pleased to have the victory.
What do you think about the way the Wayne teams played this year?
Really has been very intent on his move and trying to master both spots he's playing, primarily as a hog, but he does play some razor still as well. It was a transition for him. He's been an inside guy for us, and he's really taken the change to heart. He spends as much time as anybody, extra-wise, in the film room and asking questions. He has to make up for a lack of practice on Tuesday because he's in class, and he leaves us about a third of the way through practice. And he's quite often, his car's still here at 10 o'clock at night on that night as he comes up and tries to make up for what he missed physically by seeing it mentally and getting that film work. He's playing at a high level in both effort and execution, and was awarded MVP because of that level of play. Saturday's game.
The South Carolina offense has had to kind of improve from the loss of Deebo Samuel. What have you seen in how they've changed in the last couple of games?
Well, I think they're taking advantage of all resources that they have, and that begins with the quarterback. Quarterback's a good player. He's a heady player. He's a coach's son. He understands the game very thoroughly. He understands their offense very thoroughly, and he's the guy they lean on. He's a tough guy. He's not afraid to run it. If you give him space, he's going to run it, and he's going to drop his shoulder. He's not going to slide to the ground. He's going to gain the extra yard if it's available to him. At the same time, if he sees a receiver that's wide open, he's going to let it fly in a scramble situation, and got a big touchdown out of that because of it. They play a number of running backs, and I think getting the running game going with the loss of the receiver is something that they're working hard to get accomplished, and they got quality backs that are able to do that. They're big, thick backs that run downhill and are going to force you to be physical as defenders when you have to tackle them. I think the quarterback the tight end is the most targeted tight end that we've faced thus far. He's a guy that is a vital part of the offense, and he's going to be involved in it. Doesn't change what we do, it just heightens your awareness of a guy that sometimes is forgotten as far as the offensive system. And then you've got a number of receivers that have picked up their game and stepped in and are making catches and running routes. They do some things formationally that challenge you. There are two primary personnel groups, and about every formation known to mankind out of those two personnel groups.
Their offensive line.